Let's freaking go. What a win by our New York Mets, Dan. Today, it's a good day to be a Mets fan. Coming off that Sunday game, hopefully the New York Mets gain momentum. And let's be real, a lot of worries about Michael King heading into today. Last year, right there at the Cy Young. This year, a 2.87 entering the day, and the New York Mets took him to task. The King was slayed in Queens today. 3 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, taking his ERA from a 2.87 to a 3.84 on the year. You had your top 4 of the New York Mets, where it all starts. Let's be real. Top 4 with 7 hits today, courtesy home runs. We all know who hit them. We have the Beatty home run every single day. Brett Beatty, who's got 17 on the season. And if you were to project him over a full season, 25 plus home runs. McNeil needs to play. Beatty every single day. Dan, there's literally zero excuse for him not playing. And then you go up and down the lines. Obviously, Cedric Mullins gets the tap on in right field, but Pete Alonso with the second deck tanker, followed by Lindor, who looks like he's on pace to have another 30-30 season as he hits his 27th of the year. Clay Holmes, 4 innings, 2 earned runs. Didn't really get knocked around as much, but we heard about the piggyback. Sean Manaea finishes it off and saves the Mets bullpen. 5 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. Maybe, just maybe, the Mets found a little bit of a recipe for success. You know me, Dan. I was not in favor of the piggyback, but hey, that's why I'm behind the mic and not in the dugout. I'm well aware of that. But overall, a great night for our Mets. Not only did you save the bullpen, hopefully this offense is really starting to heat up. And hopefully, with the offense being unlocked, maybe some of these starting pitchers, Dan, could finally breathe and take a breath. As if you give up 2 or 3 runs early, this game was over. And somebody messaged me over on X while the game was going on and said, Ray, maybe Candelita OMG being played in this stadium ignites this team. Memories of 2024. Not totally sure about that, but today feels great. Now, obviously, you got to take one of these next 2, as the Reds are currently losing 3-0. Great news for the New York Mets. Hopefully that holds up, Dan, and we can take one of these next 2 from a really good Padres team. A lot of Met fans over on X telling me how much they don't want the Dodgers, they don't want the Padres. I'm here for the smoke, because if our top 4 hits like they did today, we can compete with anybody.
Right, what a game. There's no doubt this is that offense that we talk about night in, night out, that we expect to see from the New York Mets. And today we got it. 5 first-inning runs. They got off to a bang. Great to see the singles getting it done. Jeff McNeil with the double getting it done. And then the power started to come in that department, which was great to see too. Francisco Lindor repping the Clemente jersey. He's the honorable mention for the Roberto Clemente Award this year, so hopefully he can win that. Definitely deserving. And Pete, I mean, holy crap! This is Pete Alonso in a nutshell, guys. These monster home runs. He is something special, and we saw that the other day against Texas. The walk-off home run, the 5th of his career. There's not many things you could say about Pete greater than what he does in the power department. It is unprecedented. It is Hall of Fame-esque. We cannot shortchange that here on Metcast. The Mets came to play, and the piggyback was great to see. Expect that to happen again on Sunday, most likely in a reverse order. Clay Holmes going probably in the back half, and then you have Manaea opening the game. But I love what we saw today. This is unbelievable. This is a really good win for the Mets, and you got 11 more left. So if you can go 8-4 the rest of the way, tack on 7 more wins, 4 more losses, the Mets will be sitting pretty in a playoff spot.
And Dan, as I'm searching right now, the Giants just jumped out to a 4-0 lead on the Diamondbacks, who are also a team that is right there while everybody was asleep on Monday, the Diamondbacks jumped the pack. They're a game and a half behind the Mets. Who saw the Diamondbacks, who refused to sell off Zach Gallen? Everybody was screaming at them to get rid of him, a player that I thought the Mets would be interested in, who wouldn't cost you an absolute ton at the deadline. But what do I know? The Diamondbacks and the Giants, hopefully they could beat each other up, as the Giants are 2 games out right now. If they win, they go back to, I believe, 1 game or a game and a half. The Diamondbacks would fall back to 2.5, and hopefully the Reds could stay or could lose today. They'll be 3 back as the Mets, because let's be real, this is the homestand. The Mets must take care of business. And Boomer Esiason said it early today, and it frustrated the hell out of me. We made a graphic over on X about it. Him talking, of course, it'd be the Mets. They'd beat all of these good teams, and then they will lose to Miami to close out the season. Like, why would you have to say that? But guys, a quick reminder as we're having this discussion, we have partnered with our friends over at Foco over on X. I will make it my pin tweet. We are giving away one of their 81 hoodies of the Mets. I wear that all the time on stream, that light blue one. It is the most comfortable, and I'm not saying this because this is not a sponsored spot. We're doing a giveaway. The most comfortable hoodie that I own, even more comfortable than our own merch that we sell. I don't know what they do to them, but they're actually like $75, $80 hoodies. We're giving one away, so head on over to X, and if you want to get locked in to this conversation or support the channel, become a member, and that's in the description below. But Dan, tell me what this means for the Mets and their confidence level. A San Diego team that's kind of been mulling people over to get out to such a big lead. 5 runs in the first inning. You must have felt the exhale in the crowd.
How could you not? It was definitely an environment that could have been very hostile very quickly. We saw on Friday night, Jonah Tong, 6 runs in the first inning. He was not him explicitly getting booed, but the Mets team getting booed. There was multiple moments in that game. The dance crew getting booed, the DJ getting booed. That's the type of atmosphere that you're dealing with on a night in, night out basis now for Mets fans, because we've talked about this, right? We spend a lot of money on this team, externally, internally, going to these games, promoting the team, buying merch, buying food, buying alcohol, the whole 9. Parking's
$30 steaks, baby.
Yeah, and
Pat LaFrida's every time.
Right. So again, like, fans have a right to kind of be on edge at this point in the season, and you've deserved that because Mets fans have packed the house. They're about to be 3 million strong. What it does for the clubhouse, a win like this unites the team. And that is something anyone that's played sports, they understand. Winning cures all, right? When you're taking the bus home after a loss, nobody's speaking to each other because they know that it's just that kind of atmosphere. After a win, probably some beers being cracked. I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen it firsthand. Guys go over to the refrigerator, preferably, it's usually McNeil and Alonso, but back in the day, it was Vogelback, right? I've seen it, and it's fun to see those guys. I don't know who's on the team really, partaking in that night in, night out. Hopefully not many. You have a game to play tomorrow, but again, like, this win softens up the Mets. This win gives them the confidence moving forward that they can take the next 2, sweep this series, and dare I say, keep sweeping along the way. Bring out the brooms because you got Washington coming up. That's an easy team in the back of the book. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this continues to ignite a really big run for the Mets down the stretch. That's what this win brings.
Right. And you know what? For me, this offense is going to need to show up tomorrow. We've done this way too much this season, Dan. You know what I'm talking about. We whip that butt in game 1 and we don't show up games 2 and 3. You're facing Randy Vasquez, the big right-hander, tomorrow, but he's got a 3.72 ERA and is under 500 on the season at 5-6. Facing off against our big guy, David Peterson, who's supposed to be the ace, was vastly struggled as of late. That ERA is up to 3.77. This is a game where I say Peterson, it is a playoff type atmosphere. Mets fans absolutely, packed the house today. We need a legitimate legitimate shutdown game from our boy David Peterson. He's got to turn back the clock to earlier this season. No excuses. David's got to realize I am pitching for a rotation spot tomorrow in the postseason potentially, because if guys like Brandon Sproat, Noah McLean show up and do what they're doing, my spot is not guaranteed. What are your thoughts?
You want to hear my thoughts? The best newspaper in New York City, baby. This is my thoughts. You need this version of David Peterson when he had the complete game shutout. I'm not asking for a complete game shutout. I don't think any of us are in our right mind, but that's the version of David Peterson. You need that howling, that growling, that lefty presence that, let's be honest, David Peterson was probably the Mets' best pitcher this year as a collective. I mean, there hasn't been many good Mets pitchers this year, but Peterson probably gets the award at the end of the day because the kids haven't been up here long enough to really give them that praise. They've been great of late. McLean's been awesome, but McLean has not had a body of work that David Peterson has had at the big league level. We all understand that. So, again, Ray, you're 100% right. They looked to struggle a little bit against Manaea. It was really against Clay Holmes, the righty, that the Padres had success against. So, just keep pounding away. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let up and don't look back if you're the Mets.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's do our lineup breakdown that we always like to do. Look, we go as Francisco Lindor takes us. It's just until he retires, it seems like that's going to be it. Francisco Lindor today, 2 for 3, a walk, RBI, 2 runs, Juan Soto, 1 hit, 1 for 4. Pete Alonso, obviously, with the big blast, 2 for 4, two runs. Brandon Nimmo, 2 for 4, another 2 strikeouts for Nimmo. But I will say, if Nimmo could get back on track, what it's going to do to this team. Mark Vientos, Dan, are we allowed to touch the elephant in the room?
Go ahead.
Mark Vientos. I want to pull up his full stats for September because I know they're terrible.
Beatty, couple nice plays tonight too at third. Nice home run as well.
Yep. After today, Mark Vientos is 9 for 48 in the month of September. 9 for 48. That is a 187 average. Time to switch him and Beatty in the order and leave it alone, Dan. It's no longer a small sample size. You're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 game span. And if you want to continue it, he went 0 for 2 against Miami in the last game, and then 1 for 5 the game before that, 2 for 4, but then 0 for 4. So his last 4 games in the month of August, he was 3 for 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 3 for 15. So if you add that in, Mark Vientos has 11 hits in his last 70 or so at-bats, 65 at-bats. He simply has been terrible. And we all thought Mark Vientos last year was coming back. Safe to say that is not happening. And you got to give this team a jolt, because you can't have non-competitive at-bats from Mark Vientos. 0 for 4 today with a strikeout. McNeil goes 1 for 4. Obviously, he had the run. Brett Beatty, 1 for 3. As his average, it's wild. His average is 254, and Mark Vientos is hitting 237. When you look at their OPSs, Mark Vientos, 720, Brett Beatty, 752. There's a clear, distinct advantage going to Beatty. It's not even close. Obviously, Alvarez goes over 3 and gets hit on the elbow. Something concerned 100 miles an hour. I still don't get, maybe some players, Dan, just don't feel comfortable, but why don't these guys wear elbow guards? I never understand the guys who just don't do that. Maybe it's a comfortability thing, but how many guys need to be out from that? And obviously, Cedric Mullins goes 1 for 4, and the big one was the home run. He's hitting 190 with a 597 OPS. Am I thinking this is a breakout for Mullins? Absolutely not. I just think he got lucky and got a hit. He turned on one. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully he could start to contribute, because for me, Dan, you look at other guys throughout the organization. I And it's funny, Nelson Figueroa, guys, I don't know if you know this. I interviewed Nelson Figueroa Sunday night. Go check it out after this video. Great interview. And he was very critical of the team. A little surprising to me. Usually, typically, former players and current analysts are more favored towards the team. It's hard to get people to say anything negative. I'm not going to say any names, but certain managers that I've interviewed who used to manage the Mets would not say anything negative about the team. I will not, you can put two and two together there. But he went in on Cedric Mullins. He went in on this starting pitching staff, and he went in on the bullpen. But one thing he did address, he said, listen, everyone wants to get on David Stearns, rightfully so. I've been getting in on him. You've been getting in on him. The fans have been getting on him in general. But if we're looking at David Stearns as a whole, he said, listen, every single general manager throughout baseball praised his deadline. It just hasn't worked out, and that's going to happen. But you're glad at least he swung a little bit for the fence, more than what he did last year. I mean, whether or not it's going to work out, we'll see. But my thing to Nelson was, you look across town, Dave Dombrowski over in Philly is doing everything in his power to win every single year. But then he also reminded me, we got youth. We have Soto, who's young, Beatty, who's young, Vientos, who's young. All this young talent comes through the systems, and maybe, just maybe, Philly doesn't have that. Dan, we'll get to your thoughts on that, and we'll take some of your guys' questions. Just do me a favor. Make sure you vote in the poll. 1 like equals 1 let's go Mets. So shout out to you guys for chiming in. We're going to get to a bunch of your comments here very shortly. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, and make sure those notifications are on so you know when we're going live, whether it's with Nelson, Harper, Ragazzo, Will Salmon, Mike Puma, any of the guests that we have here, so you can make sure that you could chime in on the conversation. Dan.
Yeah, a couple interesting things. I mean, congratulations to the Philadelphia Phillies clinching the NL East last night. It's crazy that it happened in the middle of September. It's a slap in the face. You know, if you told us that in April that would be happening, I would have thought you were crazy because I thought it would have been the Mets. I think a lot of us agree, but it is what it is. The Mets still fighting for a postseason spot, and I'm pretty sure, hopefully, again, fingers crossed, a lot can change, that the Mets will be there. And that's what's most important at the end of the day. Stearns spoke today, talking about Stearns. Didn't really say much, just kind of danced around some topics. But there was an interesting quote that he had in there, and it said talking about the position, really the pitchers, but I kind of equated to the position players. But talking about the pitchers, he said the emphasis of importance is really on developing these guys from within because of all the injuries and things of that nature, and trying to evaluate guys at the deadline. He spoke about that as well. But it's really that quote that evaluating guys within is going to be their priority moving forward pertaining to pitchers. But I do think that it applies to the position players as well, because listen, Vientos, great player, no doubt. We see what he can do, Beatty, all these other guys, but it's really about the youth movement. And it really comes from the position players side as well. The Ryan Cliffords, the Carson Benjes, the Jet Williams, all these guys, AJ Ewing, Jacob Reimer, all these guys that we talk about all the time, they're going to be the next wave. And whether we like it or not, Brett Brady might not be here in 2 years' time, 3 years' time. Ronnie Mauricio, same thing. Mark Vientos, same thing. Could be Jacob Reimer because the Mets developed him and really saw it through. Not saying they didn't with these other guys. We've waited a long time to see these guys at the big league level, but we get all that. But it is that kind of talking point of, hey, if a guy isn't good enough for a little bit, there's going to be better talent coming up the pike, hopefully. So it's good. The Mets are in a good spot. Their talent, their development, it's all on the right foot. And it's good. It's reassuring. Mets fans should be happy moving forward. This isn't the Wilpon days where it was bargain hunting. And I know it feels like that in 2025. You got Frankie Montas, Griffin Canning, all these pitchers that people didn't really want at the end of the day. But listen, if the Mets are a postseason team, and they have this piggyback strategy that seems to work. And real quick, and then I'll hand it back to you to go to the fans. I think this piggyback strategy we see in a playoff situation, you can pitch Clay Holmes and Sean Manaea in a game, no matter what. Hopefully it works out. We'll see what happens in round 2 on Sunday. I think Brandon Sproat and potentially a Jonah Tong or, a Kodai Senga, if he comes back and is a reserved bullpen guy, that'll be something to think about. I don't know if Tong's going to be a postseason pitcher between you and I. he just looks the lights are too bright. Not in a bad way. It's
100.
just
I wouldn't even put him in the bullpen.
he's thrown into the fire too soon. He's 22 years old. So that's something definitely to watch out for. And then McLean. I mean, McLean is unbelievable. If you could pitch him with David Peterson in a game 3 or a game 1 situation, Mets are well set up moving forward. I really like what they're handling with. And Brandon Sproat's been unbelievable. I think he has earned the spot over Jonah Tong in a playoff situation. But again, playoffs 2 weeks away. We will set you up and prime you as best we can on Metcast, but we have to get there first. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, guys, really quick, I want to let you guys know, and I've cleared it by the wife, so we have the Mrs. Ray stamp of approval. We're going to live stream these games as long as I'm not at work. We'll be here with you guys reacting to the game. No, I'm not going to probably do play-by-play. I know there's a lot of other streams out there a lot of people can go to, and we appreciate you coming to us, but ours is more the fan experience. I want to react live with a bunch of friends, and that's what I consider you guys in the chat. And Dan's become one of my best friends in life. But I will say this, a lot of you guys who have been around since the beginning, the Goombas, the Kloobs, the Brads, all you guys know who I'm talking about. I consider the chat more like a family, to be honest with you. I mean, I always say this, we are a Christian-based Mets platform. We praise God on this platform as much as I can, but obviously our focus here is the Mets. But I will say this, I view a lot of you guys in the chat like friends. I read it. When we hang up, I go back and I look at every single one of your guys' chats to try to make the show better for you guys. You know, if you have guest requests, certain people we have connections with throughout the organization, I'm working on getting some players that are currently on this team. I've been in contact with some of their agents to get them on this, on the platform for you guys, especially the members. We have some members only content coming out. We're going to show you guys a little behind the scenes, maybe a little extra footage from the games that we attend. And I plan on potentially going this weekend again, even though I said last weekend was my final weekend. Sorry, honey, but I want to go this weekend, especially if the Mets are winning. There's nothing like playoff atmosphere baseball. When the Mets are winning, there's nothing better in sports. I love my Jets. I love my Nets. I love my Islanders. The playoff hockey. If you guys don't like, hockey, go to a playoff hockey game. It's an incredible experience. But there's nothing, and I mean nothing, like showing up to a ballpark like Citi Field, like I did when we got our butts kicked by San Diego. I was there for the entire thing, but when you show up and you feel the tension in the air, you feel that nervousness, you get the pinch in your stomach, those butterflies of when you were a kid going to a baseball game, when you first walked out and saw the field, it's just a different aura. And when you believe in a team listen, did I write a video? The Mets season's over. Yeah, that was a headline. We don't always generate everything here, but we wear our hearts on our sleeves. We are not trying to sell this platform to Barstool Sports or whatever. But shout out to Barstool. Great organization. Love what they're doing over there. But we are a fan-based platform. So I'm going to give you guys content, what I actually feel and what I'm reading. I read all day long trying to get you guys the best insights, talking to our sources. Not many of you guys know this. We are the first ones to report the Mullins trade. Shout out to Dan Bartels. We were the first ones to report that Nolan McLean was getting promoted to the big leagues. Yes, we had it before Andy Martino did, and that comes with a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and that's what we're trying to grow this platform into. We want it to be a New York Mets fan-based podcast, and that's why I love what we're doing here. I love hanging out with you guys. But with that said, we're going to kick it off.
Knicks.
Go ahead, Dan.
Let's go Knicks.
Absolutely. Screw the Knicks. No, I'm just kidding. Mr. Bick, shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Always means a ton. Put 20 beans on Brett Beatty home run, so this super chat is free. Absolutely. Let's go. Love the piggyback as well. Glad to see we tested this prior to October. I will say this. This is going to be against the grain. I am not a fan of piggybacking in October. I feel that could go horribly wrong. Now, I'm not scared to say throw Mania in the bullpen and he could be ready any day. Sure, I'm okay with that. But I don't like saying Mania is only going to pitch if Clay Holmes is on the mound. No, I want Clay Holmes out there emptying the tank. If he could give me a fifth inning, Dan, give me a fifth inning. Especially in a short series where, let's Noah McLean for me right now is an absolute lock for game one. And that is why for me, it is so important right now, guys, that we keep winning because we want to be able to set our pitching staff up for the playoffs. The last thing I want to see is McLean lined up for the game 161 or 162, and he misses the wild card round. That's why it's so imperative. You have a bad Miami team coming up. You have a bad national teams coming up. We already lost to them early in the season in September, where it counts the most right now. It is totally unacceptable to lose to a team like that. We need to dead and bury them. We have the opportunity with the Diamondbacks and the Giants battling it out. They should lose a game or two, one or the other in the standings. The Reds losing right now. Hopefully they're 3 out. Maybe, just maybe, we could build that cushion, Dan, as we head to the playoffs, because right now, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I'm riding the hot hand. Game 1, Noah McLean. Game 2, Brandon Sproat, until otherwise. Now, that could change in the next couple weeks. But if the season ended today, that's my 1-2. And hell will freeze over before I put a piggyback game as game 3. Imagine, Dan, we're in game 3 and you're starting Clay Holmes with the anticipation of Sean Manaea coming out of the pen. Imagine that. We're not the Dodgers of last year. We don't have the lineup of the Dodgers last year. No way. No thank you. And look, if Manaea is going to look how he looked today coming out of the pen, you may have to do this. Manaea is being paid $25 million. Not just this year, not just next year, the following year after that. He's got to be starting game 3. You got to die with your big horse on the mound, right, Dan? I mean, am I nuts for this?
No. McLean goes game 1, no doubt about it. Game 2 is tricky. I'd still give it to Peterson, but I know
I respect that. Not if he gets rocked tomorrow. He might change that.
Right. And then I'm for the piggybacking, honestly. Like, I know you're against it a little bit, but again, McLean probably doesn't need a piggyback in a perfect world. He can give you 7 or 8 and just hand it off to the bullpen. Peterson, lefty, I kind of want it coupled maybe with a righty, so Holmes would be an option. If Sproat somehow, because again, Tong's not going to make a postseason start most likely. If Sproat somehow doesn't make it in the postseason rotation, I would piggyback Sproat behind David Peterson. I would do something like that. I'd consider it. And then game 3, all hands on deck. I mean, who really knows? It's so tricky to kind of pinpoint at this point. But yeah, going back to Manaea, I don't think he makes another start this year for the Mets. I'd be very shocked. I think they kind of just use him in this bullpen role, give you 4 or 5 innings on short days rest because he can do it on short days rest. He threw 50 pitches today. If we needed Sean Manaea to eat another 2 innings in 2 days, he can do it. So it's something to think about.
All right, guys, we're going to get some more of your comments and questions. I start a lot of it. Don't know how many I'm going to get to. Obviously, as always, we prioritize the members. That's the best way to support the show if you guys want to support the show. Obviously, super chats get read immediately, but the best way to support the show is to become a member, and that link is in the description. We're going to start it off with one of our members, Brad. This is a statement win to open the series. Absolutely. D says, let's go. Andre follows up. Piggyback approach worked beautifully. Goomba says, guys, how long have I been saying piggyback? Ray, if me, you, and Dan were managing and running this team, trades and signs, we'd be 30 games over. Absolutely. I totally agree. I would have found Carson Bench, Jet Williams. I would have found all the boys. Right, Dan?
Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt about it. D follows up. Mania was a buzzsaw. Razor, a rocking chair type game. Man, did we need that? Man, did we need that? Goomba throwing some sweet stats at us. Beatty, 25, 85, 250, 750 plus OPS for Beatty over a full year in a Gold Glove defense. What else does Stearns want? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dan, imagine playing him at his natural position every game where he's just comfortable. Let the guy hit, no expectations. Tonight was a big night for Beatty. That home run was a monster shot. Let's transition. Let's take a quick look back at revisionist. Let's not have revisionist history. That's what I say. But let's take a quick look back. Let's Monday morning quarterback it really quick. Brett Beatty, when he first came up, what did he do? Home run right off the rip. Then they were asking him to lift the ball. They asked him to lift the ball. Then he started to try to lift the ball, and all he did was roll over. Goes down to AAA, gets an offseason, refines his swing, and learns that he's got so much power he can go the opposite way. But he can turn on fastballs just as good as anybody else, especially when they're down in the zone, which, as a lefty myself, we all know that's the sweet spot. And I think he's proven it this year. What more do you want to see, Dan? It's a full year of him. Think about it. He's playing second. He's playing third. Last year, they asked him to learn left. He's hitting ninth. He's hitting sixth. He's hitting fifth. He's back to seven. Back at second. Now he's sitting for a week. And all the guy does is get hits. All he does. And his defense has really gotten better this season.
Body of work's there, guys. Brett Beatty's not 6'1", he's 6'4". He's a player, and he's going to be a good one. I think he's going to be a very serviceable big leaguer for a very long time.
Dolo says, let's keep the Mania and the Holmes and Mania combo. Eric says, wow, that 2024 Sean Mania. Let's effing go Mets. Chazin says, Alonso is the MVP, Ray. Could be right. I would differ. I would say it's Juan Soto, but listen, you can make your argument for sure. I just think Soto is having an absolute magical September.
Yeah. Pete's the MVP of the Mets, though.
Let's take a look at Soto's September when it counts the most. Entering today, 333 with 1123 OPS, 5 homers in the first half. He's on pace for 10 home runs. He's got a triple, 2 doubles, and the best thing about him, the 8 walks, on pace for 16 walks. It is not a slight for me to say Soto's the MVP, because I also think one hand washes the other. Soto gets worked around, and Pete's got more opportunities to drive guys in. If you could ask for anybody in the major leagues, Dan, right now to have in front of you, you would want Juan Soto, because he's going to be on base almost 50% of the time.
Yeah, the only reason I say MVP for the Mets, I look at the runners in scoring position as a lot of us do. Soto 242 with an 808, Pete 306 with like 1,000 OPS, 1,050.
Yep,
so
that's good. That's perfect.
And real quick too, just shout out to Pete becoming the third duo with Juan Soto. So both of them in the conversation, becoming the third duo in Mets history to hit 35 home runs in a single season. You had 1987, Darryl Strawberry, Howard Johnson, and then the Carloses in 2006, Delgado and Beltran. 2019, they just missed it. So Pete had the 52 and Conforto had the 33, but it's 35. So congratulations to him and Juan Soto becoming the third duo in Mets history.
Kev asks, if we make the playoffs, start game 1, Holmes Mania, and another game, Senga Peterson. No and no for me. Dan?
Yeah, I don't see Senga being in the equation much. I don't think he makes a start. Peterson, again, I think he would make a start in the postseason. Again, he earned his stripes last year going to the pen, and not saying that's a demotion by any chance, but you have to do what you can for your team. But I think Peterson, I do trust him somewhat. Again, things can change, but Senga, I just don't see it. Tong will probably be shipped out, sent to AAA. Senga will probably be brought in, and I just see him in a reserve bullpen role. I can't see anything more, and especially in a postseason game. We saw how the first 2 games of the NLDS and CS went, starting Senga in a game last year. It doesn't sit right.
All right, so what else we got here? Buzz, one of our members chiming in. Thanks, Buzz. Ray, Dan, what's up, fellas? Tonight is a feel-good night. Let's keep the train moving. Absolutely. You know what's wild, Dan? One of my best all-time tweets that went viral was a simple AI image of the New York Mets train. Woo-hoo. Get on, or I'm going to run you over. Get on the train, Mets fans. Enough of that. And as we say that, the Truman says, I thought the Mets season was over. Receipts. Listen, it felt that way. And I'm still not saying we're fully back. Can we see it for more than a game or two, Dan? I mean,
That's
the
the
Mets
thing.
have had a terrible, terrible September. Third worst record in Major League Baseball since mid-June. Tonight's a good win. Like I said, they better show up tomorrow. I don't want to hear the excuses. I saw somebody, Dan, can you do me a favor? I was under the impression that Randy Vasquez was pitching tomorrow. Is it not him?
He's pitching on Thursday.
So who's pitching tomorrow?
Pavetta.
Okay. What are his numbers?
I had
The
it
guy
wrong.
who the Mets actually met with.
Yeah, I had it wrong too. I had Dylan Cease pitching on Thursday. That's what Fangraphs told me. So that's on
All right,
Fangraphs.
so here we go. Nick Pivetta has been absolutely lights out as of late. He started off poor, I'm pretty sure, but you look at these last couple months. The month of July, 117 ERA. August over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 starts, 2.96 ERA, and he's got 2 starts in this month, and he's got a 1.38 ERA. But we also got to take into consideration his last 3 starts: Reds, Colorado, Minnesota. Not necessarily the gauntlet. Am I saying anything like he's not going to be great? But his last start against Cincinnati on 9-10, so last Wednesday, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 8 Ks. So he was lights out for them. We may be running into a juggernaut here, Dan. Mets are going to have to take care of business. I don't want to hear it. I am done tipping my cap to the other team. I'm just done with it. We do it every single time we get shut down.
Yeah, I know.
Scott, one of our other members, chimes in. Beatty should be every day at third base. Totally agree. D says Jeff McNeil hitting the first was pivotal. Vientos had choked 1,000%. I don't know if we win tonight without that hit. That kind of lulled San Diego into, all right, we'll look to tomorrow. At least that was my thoughts, Stan.
Yeah, no, 100% right. 100% was the difference. Big difference.
Adam wants your thoughts on Alvarez getting hit by a pitch again.
Yeah, a lot goes into that. He's unlucky. He's been hit. I was surprised he didn't get hit on that first one. It looked like it clipped him, but it ended up not, which was good. He's just been so unlucky this year, and I really feel bad for Alvarez. And I hope that the x-rays come back negative, things of that nature, but it's just frustrating. And also, too, like, I know it's the end of the game, but can a team charge the mound? I know we're not living in 1980 anymore, but
that's what we need. Someone getting hurt.
Show some, or Mania go beam a guy in the next inning. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I want to see a little bit of retaliation from the Mets, not just these cute little death stares, but it's fine. Again, we're not in 1980, so it is what it is.
We'll get to a few more here. Thanks, everybody, for chiming in. Hold on 1 second. There's a lot of comments tonight, guys. Klube, another one of our members chiming in. What would you guys consider a success this postseason? I'm not expecting them to make the postseason. I'm not expecting them to make it far. We'll be happy with another NLCS appearance. Anything more is a bonus. What do you think?
Wow, I could go on for hours. First of all, Klube, we love you here. Never settle for mediocrity in life, right? Never. It goes outside of the Mets. It goes outside of baseball. Your expectation should be win the damn World Series. Like, that is what you should be expecting, because this team can win a World Series. But anything less than an NLCS would be a disappointment. And I know that's high praise for a team that doesn't look like they can make it out of the first round, but you added Juan Soto to a team that went to the NLCS. So you would think addition by subtraction, Mets added a little bit more than they subtracted on paper. So again, it would be a big disappointment if this team doesn't at least advance a round or two. But we've dealt with disappointment all our lives as Mets fans. So I hear both sides of the coin, but you have to have some higher expectations, Klub. Truthfully, win the World Series. That should be the expectation.
James chimes in. If Beatty knows he's going to start at third, he will come through. I guarantee. We'll carry his bat and glove. James also asked how you could support the channel. Become a member. They have super chats. Anything, guys, helps. I'm not begging for any of that. I'm not saying that at all. I don't want it to come off that way, but that's the best way, and also to be guaranteed to get your comments and things like that read and get to the members only content. Silly Mazzilli says, God bless Brad. I come for the warship and Mets talk second. Love it, man. Love it. Actually, some positive news. I'm starting a new Bible study shortly. Will not be on this channel. It won't be on channel anyways. It'll just be me and a bunch of my friends. Jim says, I really hope this is not fool's gold, but for tonight, let's go Mets. Dan, final thoughts.
Guys, great win, right? This is a positive win. This is good. We can all go to bed happy knowing that the Mets won a great first game against the Padres. Hope it continues tomorrow. Just win the series, right? 8-4 should be the Mets' goal to end the year. And so far, they're 1-0. So you got the power department. You got Pete doing his thing. Brett Beatty, of all people, doing his thing. Lindor.
Yep.
Beautiful violin, too, by his wife before the game. That was really well done. So, again, all good things for the Mets. Keep packing the house. Keep showing support. And we'll have you covered here on Metcast. Let's go, Mets, everybody.
Absolutely. Let's go, Mets. God bless, guys. Please like and subscribe. Make sure those notifications are on so you know when we go live. Thanks so much for staying around. And as always, let's go, Mets.
Go, Mets, baby.